It was a Thursday morning when Clara Benson, 28 years old, arrived early at Hillstone Motors, the dealership where she'd worked since finishing college. Her life was simple, too simple, some would say. She rented a modest one-bedroom apartment, cared for her aging mother, and worked hard selling cars most customers couldn't afford but loved to dream about. To her co-workers, she was too nice for this business. But Clara didn't mind. Her kindness was her armor. Her late father, a mechanic, had once told her, "Never let a man's wallet decide how much respect he gets." Those words stuck like scripture. Around 10:30 that morning, the dealership buzzed with chatter. A new rumor had taken hold. The company had been bought by a mysterious investor. No one knew who. Management only said that a new owner would soon be visiting to observe operations. Salesmen polished cars twice over, some rehearsing fake smiles in the glass doors. Clara stayed quiet at her desk, arranging brochures and checking appointments. That's when the door chimed. A man stepped in, wearing a dusty brown coat, worn-out jeans, and heavy boots that had seen better years. His gray stubble shadowed his face, and a baseball cap hid most of his eyes. He looked tired, the kind of tired that wasn't just from work, but from life. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. "Oh," one salesman whispered. "Here comes trouble." Another smirked. "Probably here to warm up, not to buy." The man said nothing. He just walked slowly between the rows of cars, running his hand along the polished metal as if feeling something familiar. Clara stood and smiled. "Good morning, sir. Welcome to Hillstone Motors. How can I help you today?" He glanced up briefly, surprised that she was even addressing him. "Just looking," he murmured. "That's perfectly fine," Clara said warmly. "Take your time. We've got coffee over there if you'd like some." The man hesitated. Coffee sounds nice. She poured him a cup herself, no assistant, no attitude, and handed it to him with both hands. "It's a bit strong," she added with a small laugh. "Our machine has a mind of its own." The man smiled faintly, the first real emotion that touched his face. Across the room, her co-workers were watching, whispering. "Benson's wasting her time again," muttered Carl, the senior salesman. "She probably thinks kindness will pay her rent," another snickered. Clara ignored them. She asked the man gentle, genuine questions. What he liked in a car, what he drove before, what he'd use it for. He didn't give much away. His answers were short, quiet. But there was something in his eyes, something observant, as if he were the one studying her. After half an hour, he finished his coffee and said softly, "Thank you, miss." "Clara," she replied. "Thank you, Clara. You've been very kind." He turned and left. Carl let out a laugh. "There goes your sale, right out the door." Clara smiled. "Not everything's about a sale, Carl." Saturday mornings were usually busy. The sun was bright, and customers filled the showroom. Clara had just finished helping a young couple when the doors opened again. This time, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up outside. A hush fell. The regional manager, Mr. Patterson, appeared flustered, rushing out to greet whoever it was. The staff exchanged nervous looks. Then, from the lead SUV, the same dusty-coated man stepped out. Only now, he was transformed. The cap was gone. His hair was neatly trimmed, and his tailored navy suit looked expensive enough to buy 3 of the cars inside. Every employee froze. Mr. Patterson's jaw dropped. And Mr. Cole, the man, no longer scruffy, no longer silent, smiled faintly. "Good morning, everyone. My name is Ethan Cole, and as of last week, I'm the new owner of Hillstone Motors." You could have heard a pin drop. Carl swallowed hard. "Yes, sir. I didn't recognize you the other day." Ethan's tone turned cold. "You did. You just didn't see me." He walked slowly across the floor, scanning the room, until his eyes found Clara. "You," he said, with a faint smile. "You offered me coffee." The others turned toward him, eyes wide. "You treated me like a person when everyone else saw a problem." That told me everything I needed to know about this mouth open, but no words came out. Clara adjusted to her new role gracefully. She introduced new policies: fair treatment, honest pricing, genuine service. Customers noticed. Profits climbed. Ethan visited often, usually quietly. They'd chat after hours, about work, about people, about life. He had a way of speaking that was calm but carried weight, the kind of voice that had seen the best and worst of the world. One evening, as they locked up, Clara finally asked, "Why did you come here in disguise that day?" Ethan looked out through the glass doors at the sunset. "After my wife died last year, I stopped trusting people. I wanted to see how they treated someone who couldn't give them anything. It's strange, I came looking for dishonesty, but I found kindness instead." Clara's voice softened. "I'm sorry about your wife." He nodded slowly. "She was kind too. You remind me of her." For a moment, they just stood there, the hum of the city outside, the silence between them heavy with understanding. Under Clara's guidance, Hillstone Motors became known not just for cars, but for compassion. Customers returned not for discounts, but for the warmth of being seen and respected. Ethan and Clara's friendship deepened quietly, naturally. She brought laughter back into his life, and he gave her something she'd never had before, someone who truly saw her. He never treated her like an employee. She never treated him like a boss. They became partners, not just in work, but in something unspoken. On the one-year anniversary of the company's relaunch, Ethan invited Clara to a small private dinner inside the showroom. The lights were dim, the cars gleamed under soft gold fixtures, and gentle jazz played in the background. When she arrived, she gasped. The silver sedan, the very car she'd shown him that first day, sat in the center, wrapped in a white ribbon. Ethan smiled. "You told me once this model suited honest people. I bought it, and I'm keeping it for one reason." He walked closer, holding a small velvet box. "Because every time I see it, I remember the day a 28-year-old woman reminded me that kindness still exists." Clara froze, her hand to her mouth as Ethan knelt. "Clara Benson," he said softly, "you changed my company, my life, and my heart. Will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes. "Only if you promise never to test me in disguise again." He laughed, the first real laugh she'd ever heard from him, and slipped the ring onto her finger. They married that fall, a small ceremony surrounded by family, staff, and a few loyal customers. Together, they ran Hillstone Motors with integrity and grace. And whenever people asked Clara how she went from a struggling salesperson to the wife of a millionaire CEO, she always smiled and said, "I didn't do anything special. I just treated a stranger with respect." Turns out, he was the love I hadn't met yet. And somewhere in the back of the showroom, beneath the soft hum of fluorescent lights, the silver sedan still gleamed, a quiet reminder that sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change the course of an entire life.